Well, here we are in Manifest Destiny, and after, excuse me, paying out the profits and dealing out the cards, everybody got one except for green with their think tank, who got two more. Well, everybody didn't get one. Everybody up to green got one, which I think means 3 players got a card. Then the deck ran out. What that means is we're going to play this turn, and I did the turn order phase, but not the card player investments yet. But it ends at the end of the investment phase. The game ends at that point. Whoever has the most victory points wins. Well, it's going to be kind of an exciting period, I think. So, and since I have a whole video here to do this, along with the wrap up, I'm going to take this as it goes, rather than come in and try to narrate. Okay, so first thing we did was everybody, and I mean everybody, played their little block, except for red, to maintain their turn order as selected, because someone else would have jumped in. Okay, so we go to blue. Blue has the first card play, and they have 2 options. They could either play Black Tuesday, or they can play Tourists. Now they set up for their tourists, so they're going to collect that, and their cash payout for that will be, they got 2 tourists here, 2 tourists there, that's 4. They're going to get $100 for that, and other people with tourists are going to get their cash too. Important card. I'm going to pay out that money and I'll come back. So purple also got $100 off that. Blue's not terribly thrilled with that, but at least it's someone who's not doing much better than they are. Green has a whole handful of cards, and this is going to be hard. Remember the Alamo, they're just not going to be able to play. But they want to play Prohibition, which is going to trigger off, everybody give them $10, and then they trigger off a gold payout, which they've positioned themselves fairly well for. They're going to be getting 3 gold, which will produce $70. Other people get some. What else? Civil disobedience versus collaboration, or versus textiles. Hard call here. This is a good turn to cancel collaboration, except that they're not in the lead. So they're probably going to play the textiles and grab money. Business or pleasure, they have to look. It's going to be telecommunications or leisure. They're probably going to hit telecommunications because they have less than anyone else. In fact, I will just trigger that one. Well, that's not going to have an effect on play because profit's not going to come into play. The depression, they're definitely going to fire this sucker off. The reason being, they have big areas where they just don't exist. So, they get to pick one region, and nobody's allowed more than 1 control token in that region. Any abandoned cities are removed. Players with the lowest cash on hand and fewest victory points get money. Well, they're not going to be likely to be either of those, but we'll see. And it gives a discount for everyone on safety net, which they may want to pick up. That sounds like a good card. And as we said, remember the Alamo's not going to get played, but they're going to play the rest of their cards. There's no penalty to not doing so. It's just each one they have some control that they can help themselves with. I'll take the effect of their cards and come back. Okay, perhaps the most important aspect of that was the depression hit the southern U.S. the hardest, which was really, really bad for purple and red, I believe. I think they lost the most territories there. Purple made up for that somewhat because they still had 3 textiles. Oh, everybody owes money back. Yellow collected for 1. Textiles are in surplus along with everything else. Purple loses $20 because they made 40. We lose 10 with green. So yeah, the profits made off those textiles were less than they might have been otherwise, but I wanted to take it because I was one of 2 people collecting the money with green. All right, on to yellow. What can yellow do? Well, yellow could play a timber card. They do not want to do this. They can steal a card. Is there anything anybody hasn't played? Everybody's held their cards. I'm going to be doing that. I don't know who against. And then I'm going to have riots. Okay, who am I going to steal from? Well, I would rather steal from yellow, or from red, because they're in the lead. And they're going to lose a card if they don't have anything to stop it. The president could stop it. They're going to lose the sabotage card, which is also going to get played. Okay, so to begin with, oh, but that maybe or is better. These hard decisions. Does yellow have or? Yellow has no or. So they're going to play the sabotage card, and they're going to remove a step of Urban Renaissance. This is totally unimportant. Maybe they should remove the e-commerce from purple. Nah, they don't think purple can win. Okay. They played their spy. And that counts as a card they played. And now they've got riots. They can destroy 2 cities, and whoever is affected pays $10 per city affected. And then players with the lowest profit and lowest victory points get cash. Well, lowest profit is yellow, bonus. Lowest victory points is blue, not so cool. But let's take those cities out. Whose cities do I want to hit? Well, blue has the +2 advantage in cities, so it would hurt blue to have it removed, but I'm more worried about red. I want to target the people who are close to me, so I'm going to hit red in Carolina, and they're going to lose $10 for that. And I'm going to hit either purple or green. Green is closer in the most cities, yeah, but they're not going to catch up to anyone. Oh, this is so tough. Yeah, I'll hit I don't know who to hit. See, yeah, I'm not going to catch up to blue. That's the issue here. I've only got 3 cities. Blue has 3, 4, 5. If I hit 2 blue cities instead. Yeah, but again, blue has that +2. I can't take it from him with my cards. Okay, so I'll hit a red city, and I'll hit... Is purple gone already? Purple has not gone already, so I'll hit the Colorado city as well. And then gold's not going to pay out because it's an or option, and yellow didn't have enough gold to make it worthwhile. I believe they had none. Okay, so what we get here is the 2 people who lose cities. Red loses $10. And who else lost one? Purple loses $10. And now yellow gets $20 for having the lowest profit, and fewest victory points. Blue gets $20. All right, that was pretty easy, I guess. Is spy the highest card? It's not. This isn't. Not sure how much next turn's turn order matters, but I don't want to lose track if it is important. There being no next turn, of course. Okay, so after yellow, we hit purple. And purple only has one card to play. They could hit oil, which they were planning for, or they could trigger the Cold War. They're going to go with the oil production. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so they play the oil production, and I'll go through the income for that, but remember that surplus means that nobody's going to get a lot off of this. Where do we have oil? Well, purple's holding 3 of them, so they'll only get 2, which works out to be 30 bucks. So it's not going to be a huge payoff because of the depression. Okay, red's going to decline to play the racial unrest card because they don't have tolerance. They don't have the most government progressions, and they would just suffer losses of profit, which could be a tiebreaker in the game. But they are going to play Martin Luther King. That'll give them a discount on tolerance if they buy it this turn, which they definitely want because it's cheaper victory points that way. They also get 2 and 3 in Urban Renaissance. And remember, they had one of these before, but it got taken from them. And they get a Pioneer. Alright. Well, now everybody gets to take their investment phases. And we'll come back after that. Okay, so here we're at the end of the game, but I want to go through the steps that got me through the investment stage just to get here. First, blue went. What did they pick up? They picked up television and safety net. Tried to form some sort of collaboration, but they didn't get enough there. And they kept their lead in the cities. Green managed to sweep into television and computers. They already had a lot there in total points. And so that helped. Yellow picked up. So they had, they picked up safety net, I believe. Remember, everybody got 25 bucks off of it, so you see a lot of people who get that. Over to purple. Purple. I don't remember what they got. I think airplanes and television. They had a lot of money to spend. And then finally we go to red, who had an interesting choice. They could get tolerance or safety net. Tolerance because of Martin Luther King would have been cheaper, but it only gives 2 victory points. Safety net gets 3. They pulled their way into tied for last instead of last place. Why would they have wanted to do the cheaper one if they hadn't already gotten a free Pioneer? They might have wanted to spend money, and a number of people did, on trying to get something where they can get a few extra victory points and maybe not be in last place. So what we ended up having is someone who got off to a pretty good start, the green player, jumping all over the Northeast, getting a lot of cities early on, managed to maintain that position. On the other hand, I see people who didn't maintain position well. For example, blue, although they came in second, also had a very good start out here in the center, but they ended up driven from that and kind of playing a different game as sort of this far western and northwestern power. Purple, well, they got knocked out of their home area. They looked in pretty bad shape, but they're with the pack now. Yellow never really caught fire, but they were in the lead victory point wise at sometimes. They just never had much board presence. They were always kind of this small force here buying up cards, but they never had the, I guess they didn't have the income sustainable to get them into the lead. It was kind of an odd thing for green to have been ganged up on the way they were successfully, I think. And they managed to overcome that eventually. And red, you know, red looked like they were doing pretty damn good early on. They had all of Mexico. They looked like they were being left alone. I'm not sure what happened to them. Certainly their card progression wasn't great. Yellow looked like they were in the bottom for the whole game. And, you know, it's not terrible that they ended up in the bottom. But red, I thought, was in one of the top 3 positions for most of the game. And somehow things just collapsed due to maybe the luck or the plays on those later cards. It's hard to really remember back into this game, you know. Early on, and this is what I mean by it shows some sort of better link to the theme and everything. Early on, you have these nice little sections of control and whatever. But as the game goes on, it becomes less and less about, you know, your physical locality, because you can pretty much get anywhere unless you're bottled up. Green actually was one of the more restricted players because they never made it too deep into the West at all. Now, eventually, they smacked and grabbed themselves some stuff by sea. But yeah, you know, there's sort of this feeling of continuity and regionalism and everything, and then that just breaks apart. And it's hard to tell what the players represent later on, you know. Some economic current or political one, I don't know. It doesn't seem to make much sense because in the original with the geographic, you also have certain commodities that are more likely in certain regions. But then it becomes sort of, oh, I am this commodity right now. Now I'm this commodity. And they might have nothing to do with each other. They're just, you know, what cards did you draw? And I have the same kind of feelings about Age of Renaissance, honestly. We'll get to a comparison of the two more once I hit the review. For now, here we go. We've got a 2 points win. Everybody pretty close together. Could have been anybody's game. I mean, you know, really, a couple of points, that could be a card play, basically, or a lucky roll up here. You know, purple, sitting on 4 dice with a reroll. They could have gotten e-commerce all on their own, and they had the cash to buy computers instead of television. So, yeah, they could have scored that one. All right, this one's going up.